Hi everybody, so we're going to be doing something a little different today. Now do forgive me, my voice is kind of gone after recording a lot of lines for Into the Jokerverse, and I feel I should tell you right off the bat, don't expect too much from it. Like, don't expect it to be a long animation or a feature-length thing. I know that I've talked about how much work is going into this one, and it's mainly because I've had to design a Joker puppet, basically, for this short, like different Jokers and everything. There's been a lot of design work going into it, so it's taken naturally longer, but it'll be no longer than your average Joker short that I've made so far on this channel. So, okay, let's get started. I wanted to talk today about Season 5 of Gotham and where it kind of went wrong. Now, I know that I've built a little bit of a reputation in the Gotham fan community as being a whiny, negative Nancy fanboy when it comes to Gotham, and I quickly just want to dispel this right now. Gotham is my favorite show of all time, okay? I hold it in an even higher regard than the Fargo TV series. Is it as well made as the Fargo TV series? No. But I adore it more just because it's more entertaining for me, I'm more invested in its characters, and, you know, I've achieved more from watching Gotham, you know, I've made more social circles from watching Gotham. So here's the thing, is like, if you come to this video, if you come to this channel, and you're just watching the videos that have kind of negative looking titles and saying, you're so negative, but then you don't watch the ones where I'm doing the individual episode reactions and I'm having really positive things to say, then you're not really informed enough to give me your opinion of my channel and how I present these things, you know, because you haven't seen that, you know, I'm actually very positive about Gotham. And, you know, at the end of the day, when I'm saying negative things about Gotham, the assumption you kind of have to make is that everything else is fantastic, though. And that's the thing, is I thought this would be a given, is that I generally think that everything in Gotham is fantastic, and I feel like that comes across most of the time. And at the end of the day, you know, there's people saying, stop whining, stop complaining, they did great and everything. Look, my subscribers matter to me. I value every single one of you. But if you're here on my channel, wanting a channel where I basically take every episode of Gotham like it's a metaphorical glass of water, go, nice. That's not what this is. It's there. I challenge my own views on things in doing these videos, because even when I was complaining about the change from Jerome Valeska to Jeremiah Valeska, I still enjoyed the TV show. I still enjoyed the story. When I've had negative things to say about Season 5, I have still enjoyed the episodes within that season. It's an enjoyable show still. So don't let me trying to be sort of constructively critical give you the wrong idea of my actual opinions on Gotham. Just try and have some common sense and see that a critical YouTube channel, or a YouTube channel that, you know, specializes in challenging its own views, is not just about whining and complaining, okay? Alright, with that out of the way, we're going to look at where I feel Gotham Season 5 went wrong, where I feel, because I'm gonna make one point right now. Gotham Season 5, if it isn't my least favorite season of Gotham, it's my second least favorite season of Gotham. I think my least favorite would be the second half of Season 3, where we go into the Tetch virus is getting bigger and bigger, and we go into the Court of Owls stuff. I just didn't find it as entertaining as what I found with the rest of Gotham. And I just want to put this out there, like, I think Season 1 is a 9 out of 10. Season 2 is a 10 out of 10. Season 3A, 10 out of 10. Season 3B, more like a 7 out of 10. Season 4, 10 out of 10. Season 5, 6 out of 10, basically. That's just my verdict on this and everything. So, like, you know, the thing is, I think Season 5 had a noticeable dip in quality, and I think Council of Geeks put it best when he said that No Man's Land should have been a free-for-all, over-the-top, everyone is at each other's throat, every man for himself story. And the thing is, they kept introducing outsider elements, outside characters, just adding and adding and adding to this show when it had a very limited amount of time left to do what it really needed to do. And that's the thing, is I feel like it's too obvious that season 5 was not intended to be the final season originally. And it really comes across, because No Man's Land, if it were just a season, just an ordinary season, the No Man's Land story we had would have actually been okay, because we got a little bit of that free-for-all stuff. And the outsider elements wouldn't have been so jarring if we didn't have so much to wrap up already. But we didn't get a chance to say a proper goodbye to Mr. Freeze, Firefly, Scarecrow. And the thing is, these are all villains that the show itself in Season 5, Episode 1, set up. These are things that it promised, pretty much. When you set up a thing like that, you don't just kind of sweep it under the rug and say, but it's happening in the background, because then why mention it if you're not actually going to go there with it? And then even then, you've still lost the potential. And that's another thing, it's just this whole... The Bane story and everything is like, you can't help but wonder, why did Bane take precedence over the established characters that we have? And that's the thing, is Gotham Season 5 did not capitalize on the potential of the idea that had been set up at the end of Season 4. It didn't capitalize on being a final season, and what we get is just this in-between zone, where it's just kind of like... We've got No Man's Land, and we're kind of trying to force Bruce to become Batman now. It's literally like he's being pushed into that Batsuit in this season. And, yeah, and I won't lie, like, the episodes were entertaining. I thought they were a little slow at first, and the filler in this season, it's like, the thing is, even if you take out the episodes that were added in, they still do not prioritize the things we want to see. So, like... The things that were advertised going from season 1 of, from episode 1 of season 5 is that Scarecrow's on the loose, they've got factions, there's Mr. Freeze and Firefly at war with each other, Jeremiah Valeska is still out there, and these are the things I really wanted to see. I didn't really care about Hugo Strange putting chips in people's heads, like Riddler and everything. I didn't care about that. I didn't really necessarily care about every single Jim Gordon rousing speech of heroism that we got about how everyone needs to band together. I thought one of those was enough, and it just kind of got out of control. I would rather have seen, you know, what was advertised with the factions and everything than what we got with, like, the military coming in and they're taking over and everything. It's you know, it's not what I was invested in, and I feel like in the end I didn't really get a satisfactory goodbye to the stuff that we've invested in over the course of 4 seasons. We instead just had this kind of war story that feels kind of detached from what Gotham is and everything like that. And that's what I feel went wrong with Season 5, is that I just get the feeling they didn't know what we wanted to see, and it was kind of obvious what we wanted to see. And then it's the fact that, you know, like, the promotional material did not help it. The promotional material made it, well, basically it exposed the entire story. And it made it look like, you know, Jeremiah Valeska was going to be the big bad of this season. And really, he made very little appearances and everything. And that's just a big shame and everything, because, like... Pretty much every Jeremiah appearance in this season was shown in publicity, and it's like, why would you do that? You just Jared Leto'd Cameron Monaghan. You know, that's ridiculous. Like, why would you do that? But I don't put that down to the Gotham creative team. I don't put that down to production or anything. That's down to Fox's publicity of the show. That's out of the control of, say, Bruno Heller, John Stevens, Danny Cannon, and all that. And the thing is, just in the end, though, the end result is that Gotham Season 5 didn't feel like a final bow out. It didn't feel like the final curtain call. It instead felt like Gotham's come here defeated and deflated, and it's just like, one more romp. And it's just, it's kind of sad to see it in that state. And another thing that I think was working against Season 5 was that we've lost so many characters that made this show what it is. Like Butch, for example, and Tabitha. Like, they're gone in this season, and you really feel their absence. I made the joke to Liz, it's like, your favourite character, Solomon Grundy, gone. My favourite character, Jerome Valeska, gone. Like, the best of Gotham is over by the time you reach Season 5. And Season 5 didn't really exercise the things that we'd set up with Season 4. It instead just kind of did its own thing. And that's really disappointing. So, coming to the finale. I know, I am fully aware that the producers intended for this episode to feel like a pilot. I got that. I am not completely stupid as to say an episode called the beginning and then complain that it feels like a beginning. I'm not complaining that they fulfilled their plan. I'm not happy with the fundamental idea of it, basically. You could have... The thing is, there are ingredients of a great finale in there. And I was very entertained by what I was watching. Don't get me wrong, I was entertained by it. I enjoyed the episode. And maybe I was so negative in my initial reaction, but it is an initial reaction. It's not a review. It's not something I've structured and written. It's just an immediate knee-jerk reaction. And a lot of people have commented and said, that's not a reaction, that's a review, just because I'm not there in front of the TV going, oh. But it is a reaction because it is my first thoughts after seeing the episode. And do I intend on doing a full review? Yes, but this is just my immediate Season 5 existential crisis that I'm feeling right now because my favorite show is over. The idea of making the finale to Gotham a pilot for Batman is fundamentally flawed for one reason. You don't make a pilot to conclude something. And that's the thing, is at the end of the day, you can call it a pilot for Batman, but there's never going to be a Batman show set in the Gotham universe. We are never going to see these seeds that they've sown in this episode flower. We're never going to see that. So don't do that, because it's only going to make me feel unsatisfied as an audience member. They could have rounded off the story of Gotham in a satisfying way with all of these ingredients in there. The story we had with the Penguin, great. The story we have with the Riddler, great. The story we have with Jeremiah Valeska, great. But the thing is, the whole thing is geared up towards beginning the adventures of the Dark Knight. And we don't get that. I don't have a problem with the fact that we only saw Batman at the last second. I have no issue with that because it was as promised. They did say you will not see Batman until the very end. That's fine. Okay, got it. Right. But the thing is, the whole thing is just hype. It's just hype for what's coming next, and it builds up Batman. The whole focus of this is building up Batman as opposed to really rounding off these characters' stories in a satisfying way. I wanted to see where the Joker would go next. I didn't just want to see a batarang shoved in his head. I wanted to see him go off, about to enact out his next big plan. Establish that he is a big threat for Gotham, that he is Gotham's next nightmare. Let him get away with it. He's off. He's out there. Oh boy. I wanted for, like, sort of Riddler and Penguin to have more to actually do than just be kind of fooled into this whole C4 bomb plot, you know? And the whole thing with Penguin taking Jim Gordon to the harbor feels like it should be a thematic moment. It feels like it should be the thematic conclusion. The whole thing's now in reverse. The power balance has changed. It's tipped. But it's so quick. It's such a quick thing. If this were a standoff that lasted more than just a couple of minutes, and it didn't end so comedically with just Jim Gordon just swimming away and Penguin just shooting in around the water and stuff, you know, if you could have had maybe Batman save him or something, just come in swooping from the distance, or he gets grappled up and he's out of the way, and maybe you sort of see Jim Gordon just talking to this disembodied voice off screen, and he's just like, you know, I'm not your enemy and everything. That would have been a more satisfying setup for Batman and Jim Gordon, really. My main thing that just leaves such a sour taste in my mouth is that final shot of the episode. The camera zooms up to the building, and Batman is there, standing on the edge of the building. And it should be great. It's not. It's not, because they are doing a shot that is beyond their means, beyond their budget, beyond their capabilities. So what you get is a very unnaturally lit Batman. For some reason, he's just lit up like a cardboard cutout, standing on there. The camera zooms in, the perspective is completely off as Batman just sort of like stands like this, I guess. And it ends with this awkward close-up of his face, and sort of like, it's like, okay, we're back to practical cinematography now. It looks green screened, it looks fake, and it is a horrible note to end it on. Not only that, what happened to the music? Like, Jeff Russo is great. He's done a great job on Gotham. But in that final shot, it suddenly sounds like synth trumpets are playing, and you get an extremely high-pitched version of the Gotham theme, and I was like, oh man, this is supposed to be the final shot. I'm supposed to be soaking this up. It's supposed to be great, and it's not. It's not. It's a mess. It's a horrible mess, and that's the outcome is now. This is what I'm left with. is this mess. I would have rather we'd had... I would much rather we had had just a static shot of him standing on a rooftop without that big zoom thing, and Batman's sort of cave just fluttering in the wind. Maybe he looks up at the moon or something. Just anything but what we had. It was terrible. That final shot, you cannot come and tell me that is a technically competent final shot. And that's the last thing we have to remember this show. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. I thought it was a nice touch having the bat behind the Gotham logo as it comes up. It's just a shame that the theme was a very synthetic-sounding version. I mean, maybe it's not, but it's so high-pitched. It's like, oh, man. Oh, man. So, yeah, I mean, it had things going for it. It really did this season. There was a lot of great sequences with Bruce sort of becoming Batman and everything. I actually liked the Bane standoff, even though I thought it's not the right time for this. I actually liked the Bane standoff. I enjoyed Jeremiah Valeska. Like, I thought he was a valid Joker and everything, and yeah, admittedly, I prefer Jerome still. I do. And even after the finale, I still prefer Jerome. But at the end of the day, like, he did great. And the thing is, Jeremiah, Cameron Monaghan, the best thing about the finale, the best thing by far about the finale. Oh, man. Like, his performance was great. He was sort of signaling his inner Mark Hamill. It's the closest thing we've had to the Arkham Joker in live action before, and I was thrilled with that. And the whole thing with Echo. But I think what we needed was a satisfying ending for Barbara Keane. Like, she'd been such a big thematic piece of this series. Her arc had gone so far, and we all know that she has no place in Batman's mythos. If we'd seen the Joker actually kill her or something. This is the thing, is the Joker didn't do enough to leave an impression. He didn't get a final last laugh. He just kind of had a plan, failed, batarang in the head. Penguin and Riddler, they have a plan, they get tied up, they're defeated, they puss out, they forget about it. And then by the end it's just like, Batman. And it's that's not enough. Like, we did need to see maybe... The thing is, if it's a pilot, if it's supposed to feel like a pilot, then why are these characters all being bumped off like this? I thought what we would do is, like, it's a Gotham series at the end of the day. I thought what we would do is end it on more of a note of the villains. More of a note of the villains, and have the final shot be Batman. Suggesting that Gotham has now reached its peak. Everyone is more competent than ever before. The challenges are huge. Batman's going to go face his destiny. And that would be a great ending for the show. What we instead got was everyone is defeated really easily by a black cloth, and then Batman stands on a rooftop that he's been clearly green screened on. That's my issue. The idea of it being a pilot is a fundamental flaw. The finale is not directed as well as your average Gotham episode. I look at the finale, then I look back at an episode like My Three Soups or something, and I think, what happened here? It would have been better if we had just had an episode that fully actually concluded these characters without Batman, and then we flashed to 10 years forward and had a brief action sequence, and then you see Batman. I would have preferred that to what we got. And yeah, I wanted to see Jeremiah again, and I think it was a stupid move to kill him off so early in the season, and then, you know, only bring him back for the finale for a very brief period. But this is the thing, is, to be honest, part of me wonders what I was expecting, but I was just expecting something that had more story, less, like, action moments. I think, like, they prioritize this needs to be epic over this needs to be thematically suitable, if you get me, and that's what this finale was for me. And I need to stress, does it ruin the show for me? No, it does not ruin the show for me. I love Gotham still. I've got my box set of season 1, 2, and 3. I'll buy 4. I'll buy 5 for the sake of collection completion and everything, but as a long-time fan of Gotham, I feel let down. I won't lie. I feel a bit let down by this, and I think the thing is that means more than just going, that was brilliant, I liked it, woo! Because the thing is, you can like it for your own reasons, alright? I'm not saying anyone can't like it here. I'm glad if you really enjoyed all of that, and if that was exactly what you wanted it to be, then I'm glad of that. I really, really am. It's just, don't condemn others for not being, because ultimately, if you really love a show in the way that I love Gotham, you'll treat it with the credibility as to say when it lets you down. And it's hard for me to admit. It's not something I can just do without a little bit of pain. It has pained me, this process of accepting it wasn't good enough. And that's the thing, is I'm not asking for a 2-hour-long Batman movie on TV. What I was just asking for was for a conclusion that these characters deserved. And I do not feel that we got that with what we got in Season 5. And that disappoints me. That doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the series altogether, though. There were things to like in there. There was a lot to like in there. You know, I still tuned in every week. I still was excited. I still look forward to every episode and everything. And there were some stories that were really memorable. I think looking back, my favourite is Ace Chemicals. I really enjoyed the trial of Jim Gordon. I did enjoy the Bane two-parter, but I feel like this wasn't the right time for it. And that's what my takeaway will be. And it's like, I did enjoy the finale, but it feels like a fan film. It feels like an advert, which is what I was worried it would be. And the thing is, you shouldn't make an advert for something that's never going to exist, because you know what you end up with there? The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's like the Sinister Six are coming, Rhino's coming out and everything, and then you end on that, and it's not satisfying at all. So, yeah. That's what that was then, I guess. So, yeah, that's Gotham Season 5. That's my current thoughts at the moment. I have more planned. I have a lot more planned. And we will get to that. We're going to do character rankings. We're going to go through all the different looks of the different characters and everything, and talk about that. Talk about the best stories, best episodes. And hey, like, this doesn't have to mean the end of my channel. Like, Gotham is the one thing that got this channel back off of the ground and everything, but there's animations coming. There's more talk about Gotham coming, and I know it's going to die down eventually. I know it's going to die down in T-minus tomorrow. But you know, we'll enjoy it while it lasts. And hey, it's not out in the UK yet. I've been watching it through a VPN. So, you know, maybe we'll get a second burst. Maybe we'll get some content out for the UK fans. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed Season 5, regardless of what, you know, flaws there may be. I certainly did. It's just, it was flawed, and it's not good enough, you know? It's not okay for them to do this to my favourite show. I hold a lot of different factors responsible here, like Warner Brothers not really allowing them to use the Joker, and not really allowing them to actually look at different Batsuits and stuff. I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with the fact that Fox cancelled it and only gave it a very short run. And I'm not cool with how they spent that run. That's the thing, is I don't blame it on people. It's just, they had a lot working against it, and it shows. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. And if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and as always, you know, do check out the Patreon link in the description below if you can. You know, I don't expect anything from you guys. The fact is, to have you guys tuning in, watching this video and everything, and if you've made it to here especially, you are a trooper, you are a crazy guy. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.